Hey everybody, it's Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio. I'm getting the live stream started here. For this episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 2. We did number 1 in the previous week of Supergirl Radio, and also the special number 1, I think is what it was called, because Morgan had that in her trade, which I did not have as a single issue reader. So we covered both of those kind of in the same episode. So if you haven't listened to that episode, maybe go listen to that one and then come back to this one. But you can hang out with us in the live stream if you don't mind being spoiled, because we will spoil this issue that has been out for a while. I see Brian in the chat there saying, I finally got my phone to alert me about these live streams. Okay, good. I don't know why it wasn't doing it, but I'm glad you noticed it. We're live streaming on a different different night. I saw live stream and it said live because of me. We've changed to Monday for this week because I have a work thing tomorrow. So we've had to switch days. But normally we're Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you are surprised by this, it's a last minute change. So we normally do Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. But because of me, we've had to switch to Mondays. So we will hopefully be back on Tuesdays for a couple weeks. I may have to switch a couple of times on Tuesdays, maybe to Mondays or Wednesdays whenever Morgan is available. So just with my work schedule, sometimes things are shifting. But let's see. I have another question here in the chat. New Rachel says, do you have any plans for the 10th anniversary of Supergirl Radio? Oh, I guess that is coming up. We definitely will be doing a 500th episode, which will come sooner than later. I think this week's episode will make 470. So we will be hitting the 500th episode 30 episodes from now. But the 10th anniversary, no, I hadn't thought about doing that, but you're right. It is going to be 10 years because we started doing Supergirl Radio officially in 2015. Before the Supergirl TV show premiered. So we were doing it a year in advance so that we could read some Supergirl comics and do all of that. But I'm going to have to think on that, New Rachel. I had not given that any thought. I think we did a press release for it in January, but I don't think we released our first episode until February. Yeah. So New Rachel says, I saw that the first episode was posted in February 2015. So I believe that is correct. That is a good memory. I will consider it. I don't know if I have time to put something together, but maybe we'll do like a social media post of some kind and see what we can put in there. I see Kenny in the chat says to send an email into Supergirl Radio. Did you get it? Well, Kenny, you will be happy because I've included it in this week's doc. So yeah, we got your email and we will read it and respond to it. And I see Morgan. Are you there? Are you good? So did you see that New Rachel reminded us that Supergirl Radio turns 10 years old this year in February?
No, it doesn't.
That makes my knees hurt.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if you want to do anything for the 10th anniversary.
Yes, we should.
I mean, I don't know if we have time for it. We have so many comics to do, but maybe we could do like a social media thing of some kind. I don't know.
It's been a decade.
I wonder if
we should. Maybe I don't think you should have to edit anything together, mind you.
I've got the 500th episode coming up in 30 episodes. I'll be editing that.
We should just have a little party. We should get party hats and wear them the whole time.
I mean, we could.
We could. No,
we could get cake. I'm up for eating cake and wearing party hats and maybe getting one of those little noisemaker things.
Oh, yes, noisemakers. We could share some fun facts.
That's true. Maybe we could this would be hard. If we could bring our like top 5 or top 10 moments of Supergirl Radio or like favorite episodes or something.
Yeah, we could do that for sure.
That would be hard. That would be really hard.
It would be really hard. We've done so many Supergirl Radio various episodes that I don't remember half of them.
And they've been all so good. Like so the highest quality.
Everything is so high quality. It's not that I have the memory of like a piece of Swiss cheese. It is that everything is the top quality.
How could we choose?
How could we choosing amongst our children, our 500 children?
Maybe we should put it out to people on.
Yes, maybe that's what we should.
If you have a top 5 or top 10 list of favorite Supergirl Radio moments, email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com, or you can tag us on your favorite social media platform, and we will get to those. I think one of mine would be our soap opera series that we did.
That one was really fun.
So I think that would go on my list, but there's so
many memories.
So many good choice things that we would have to go through, but we'll have to ponder that and see what we
now that do. People know that when we make jokes like we were so much younger then, we actually were so much younger then.
10 years, that's a long time.
Oh no,
that's a whole decade.
That's a decade. That's too long. That makes me feel bad. That wasn't something I needed to know, Rachel.
We could have done without being reminded of how old we are now. But I think that's a thing to celebrate. We'll have to figure out how we want to do that. But it's definitely something to look back on and just at least mention it, I think. And remember that we've been doing this for 10 years. So thank you, Morgan, for doing it for as long as you have with me. So I appreciate that. Okay, well, I think we should go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to cover here. So we'll be talking about Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #2, and also the first look at kind of Millie Alcock on the Supergirl set. Maybe not the first look of Supergirl yet, but we'll talk about that as well. So Morgan, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
All right, we will go ahead and get started.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio Rebirth, your source for Supergirl comics that started with DC Rebirth. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
For this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired to review Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #2, which is quite a title. The credits for this issue, James Tynion IV was the writer, Steve Epting and Javier Fernandez were the artists, Travis Lanham was the letterer, Steve Epting did the cover, Nick Filardi was the colorist, Riccardo Federici, which is such a great name, did the variant cover, Ben Mears was the assistant editor, Alex Antone was the editor, and Jamie S. Rich was the group editor. So those are the credits for this issue. So we're going to be talking about Hell Arisen #2 and all of the things that happen with Lex Luthor and the Batman Who Laughs. We find out where he lives, maybe.
Maybe. And what his decorating style is like. Spoiler alert, it's spooky.
It's weird. So we're going to be talking about all of those things because lots happened in this issue. But before we get to that, we need to get to
The news.
On January 23rd, Millie Alcock posted to her Instagram account with a picture of her on the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie set with the caption, "Introducing Kara."
like a space rocket
emoji. James Gunn also posted to X to write, "Thrilled to see cameras roll at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden."
Leavesden, maybe?
Leavesden. I think you're probably right on that. On Supergirl with Craig Gillespie at the helm and the phenomenal Millie Alcock as our Kara Zor-el. Craig brings an incredible sensibility to the story, and Millie is every inch the unique Supergirl envisioned by Tom King, Bilquis Evely, and Anna Noguera.
Noguera, maybe.
Noguera. I always am gonna get somebody's name wrong.
It always looks weird when you're reading it. I think it's Anna Noguera. I could be wrong though, but I believe that's what it is. So Morgan, what are we thinking about? This is the first look. So what are we thinking?
I think it looks great. There's not much you can tell from this.
It is just back of her head and a chair. And some of the set though.
But we have some of the set. The set looks very alien bar-ish. And as we all know, we know the alien bars well on Supergirl Radio. There's been many Supergirl alien bars
throughout her entire mythology.
Some of them have names, some of them don't.
I mean, if it's a Supergirl story, the odds of it having an alien bar are pretty good. This one looks like an alien bar, specifically from Woman of Tomorrow #2. So the coloring, the bar stools, very similar, I think. So that's exciting.
I think that's very exciting. And then we can sort of get I think a first glimpse of what her shield is going to look like, which I suppose is I suspected it would just be the same one as the Superman one, and that looks correct. But it's fun to see it on the back of a chair.
Now, some people were asking me, Rebecca, do you think it's just going to be the blue behind the S? Do you think there's going to be yellow in there? Because they were thinking this is a direct correlation from what the chair is to the suit. And my thought is, I think that's too early to say. It could just be that they needed to print something on the back of this chair.
That is also true.
And they only had the blue and the red to work with. So I don't know how much we can gauge on what the S-shield would look like based on the back of this chair. But I assume the shape is what we will be seeing, which does look like David Cornsweat's Superman. So it does look like the L's will be matching, which I think is perfectly good and fine. And I am happy to, I'm just happy that things are happening.
They're
releasing photos. They're in the studio. And I like that the, I don't want to say hate, but it bothers me sometimes people harp on like colors of movies and things like that. Cause I think color is a very specific choice that a filmmaker makes within their story based on what they want it to look like. But here, Woman of Tomorrow, the comic book, is so colorful. And so beautiful. And so one of the things that I was hoping to come out of this movie was that they would maintain at least some of the aesthetic of the book. And I think they're doing it. I'm actually surprised. This is looking better than even though it's, blurred out with Mocha in the background, but it looks like they're attempting to do the book.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So definitely in a space bar, definitely in the studio. Things are happening. Supergirl is going to have a movie. We think this seems like a good indicator of it. This looks like to be evidence that is actually officially happening. So we may get more of this in the coming weeks and months. I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled. But that was really unexpected the other day. I was like, oh, what? Okay, we'll take a picture.
That's so early. That's because we're getting on the hype train. We're ready.
I was actually surprised, Morgan, how excited that picture made me because I was like, it's just the back of her head. Why am I so excited about this?
I know. I felt the same way too. I was like, yeah. Mike was like, what are you so excited about? I was like, there's a first picture. And I showed it to him. He's like, cool. I was like, no, it's happening though.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about the back of Millie Alcock's head and her chair. So excited. But that does indicate that a Supergirl movie is being made, and we are very excited about it. Let's see. New Rachel says the set reminds me of the bar scene from the first issue. Maybe could be the bar scene in the first issue. I always thought it had more of a Western feel. I don't know. That was kind of what I got from it, but I think it looks very much like the one from issue 2. But I'll have to go back and look at that, Rachel, to see what you are referencing. Maybe there's something I'm misremembering. Mind the Gap says, wasn't Kara wearing a disguise in her first appearance in the bar? Also, in recent years, Kara has been wearing a jacket with her costume.
Oh.
I don't know if like a hoodie though.
Maybe she's space seems chilly.
She's getting a little cold. She's getting a light jacket.
Space.
It's cold. She needs something over it.
Exactly.
It's possible she might be wearing this. Maybe she comes from Earth, straight from Earth, and that's what she's wearing. So it could definitely be. I'm sorry.
I said maybe it's fall.
Maybe it's fall. Yeah, maybe she's fitting in with the humans. I don't know if Kryptonians get cold, but maybe she's just trying to fit in. She's like, this is what everyone else is wearing right now.
This is so stylish right now.
So super exciting to see something happening on the set of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So very, very cool. All right. Well, I guess we should get to the reason why we have gathered today, which is the continuation of our journey into Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen. This is issue number 2 that we're going to be talking about. The description for this one reads, quote, apex predator Lex Luthor is on the hunt for the Batman who laughs to catch his prey. Oh, so many puns. He must follow a trail of broken heroes, leading him to Jim Gordon, one of the victims of the Batman who laughs deadly virus that turned the heroic police commissioner into the worst version of himself. The trail leads Lex to a lonely cell in the Hall of Justice, but it's not the good guys who come to stop him. It's more of the Batman who laughs dangerous operatives. And if they couldn't resist the influence of the dark multiverse, then how can Lex? Unquote.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was confused about the Jim Gordon thing, and maybe we can come back to it, but I feel like I missed something with Jim Gordon, because when we started with these like infected evil versions of these characters, Jim Gordon was in the mix as like one of the evil characters, and now somehow he's in prison. So I feel like I missed something. I don't know how did he get separated out from the, Deathbringer and Sky Tyrant? How did he get separated out from them? I'm not really sure. So I was a little confused about that in this issue. But I think, I guess, should we talk about I feel like we shouldn't talk about the ending with that just yet. Maybe we'll come back to that. The first thing I want to ask you about, Morgan, is Lex Luthor basically laying waste to all of evil infected Supergirl and all of her friends. What did you think about Lex putting on the Lexo suit and just kind of handling them one by one?
Yeah, I thought that was like a little bit like, oh, okay. Oh, we're so powerful. We're Lex. He just kind of takes them all down. First, he puts on the Red Sun protocol. So he takes out and kryptonite knives poor Kara, who doesn't even get a good villain name. Nope. And then he sort of takes out all the other ones one by one. I thought him taking out Shazam by getting into his head was cheating, because wait, did we know Lex has like Martian in his DNA now?
I was also confused about that. I was wondering if that was something I missed from not reading through the special.
No, it was not in the special.
So Lex apparently now has Martian abilities to read people's minds. So yeah, I don't know if it's cheating if he has the powers. It's maybe not
true.
It's maybe not morally.
I feel
right.
I feel like from a writing standpoint, I should have known that he had Martian powers before the first time he used it.
That's true. Yes, that was very confusing. I just went with it because I was like, whatever. This series is crazy. But yeah, that's how he defeats Shazam. Is that he convinces Shazam to say Shazam and turn back into young Billy Batson. So yeah, he really takes care of all of those characters. He stabs Supergirl, and he, I think, wants to use the knife. He goes back and takes the kryptonite knife out of her for a sample, but he says that the kryptonite contaminated the sample.
Yeah, I also didn't understand. Like, I don't understand sort of the rules of what's happening with this virus in this world, where it's like, well, the kryptonite contaminated it. It's like, but you took it off the knife, so didn't you think that the kryptonite you didn't think that the kryptonite was gonna have an effect? Like, I don't know, it's very strange. It's like that the rules feel like they change from issue to issue depending on like what they need the issue to do. I also thought it was funny that at the end he like blows up the building, and then when they're talking to like Joker who laughs, he's like, are there any casualties? And they're like, no. And I was like, not even Billy, the small human child.
I never remember him.
That was in the building that blew up. That didn't take Billy out.
Yeah, I was actually kind of disappointed when Lex said, "Oh, there's nothing I could get from the kryptonite knife sample," because I was like, when I read it, I thought, "Oh, maybe this is how he discovers something about Supergirl's blood or something in there about the infection, and that's how she comes out of the infection, is because Lex does something to bring her back somehow." And then it was just like nothing. There's nothing that Lex can learn from doing this with the knife. So I was very disappointed, and actually, because it was a really intense, dramatic scene. I thought that Lex and Supergirl have this interaction, and she actually taunts him and she's talking to him about, that her cousin Superman actually respects Lex and wants him to be better. And she says to him, "You've never been less than you are right now." And then she finishes that off with, "You've never been smaller." And I was like, dang, Infected Supergirl, she is really giving it to him there. And so I really liked that interaction. And to have nothing come out of that was
I know
disappointing, but not inconsistent with how this story has been going.
It's true. I really liked that whole interaction between her and Lex. I thought that was like honestly kind of the most compelling thing to me in the issue. And the thing that kind of felt like it was like actually hitting on some sort of like emotional truth with these characters who at this point are so far off the rails. It's like, and then they're infected by a virus, and now they're fighting Lex, who's Mega Lex because of a god, even Mega God powers, but the infection is also going through everyone, starting from Commissioner Gordon, and like you're just like, okay, whatever. And this was the moment where she's like, Superman respects you, but not when you're being like this. Oh, no. I was like, okay, finally, like we're getting to the point where these are like human beings with emotions. It feels like everybody is so like big and powerful and or like infected by evil that like I can't really hook into the characters right now. And having that moment between Supergirl and Lex was like the only human thing in this story thus far, besides obviously that the Batman Who Laughs like needs some home decor help.
I would also say the Mercy Lex.
The Mercy Lex scene was incredible.
That had a little bit of humanity in it as well. But I will say the Supergirl Lex Luthor interaction I thought had the most weight to it, because they've obviously have that connection with Superman, and to know that Superman, and even in her evil state, evil Supergirl is like, you can be better, Lex. You could be better than, like, she's giving a hope speech in the midst of her evil infection.
It's perfect because we've established in the Supergirl series that was unfortunately infected by this same storyline.
Boom, boom. I wish I had a sound effect.
Thank you. Thank you. That she got an infection that was meant for Superman, and so it sort of imperfectly infected her. So she's still kind of like, I'm gonna do evil, but in a way that benefits the people. Hope, everybody, hope for evil. So I do think it's great that she's like, Lex, you're going to lose, mostly because what you could have been doing with your time and resources is helping save the world instead of trying to get down on Superman. Also, we're going to infect you with the evil virus. It's like, girl, you're not good at this. You're not good at the evil thing.
Maybe that's why she doesn't have an evil nickname.
That's why she doesn't deserve one.
She doesn't earn it.
She sure hasn't earned it.
So since we mentioned Lex Luthor and Mercy Graves, since we're kind of here in the Lex bit of it, what did you think? I was actually kind of surprised to see Mercy Graves in this issue. And I really enjoyed getting to see her encounter this new version of Lex Luthor. So what did you think about their interaction?
I thought that interaction was my second favorite thing in the issue. First off, I love the idea that like Mercy's out of a job now, and she's like, it's so hard to get a job with another evil employer. I am trying, Mom. I'm going to all the mobsters. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to get a job at like Bank of America, Mom. I know my strengths. They're not hiring me either. I thought that was really funny that her mom was like, well, I mean, you're not trying for like jobs on the up and up, are you? God, Mom.
Don't hassle me.
Why do I even call? And then obviously Lex is just in her apartment and he's like, oh yeah, I made this one of my like safe zones ages ago. And she's like, is that why I can't get reception in here? That was like my favorite.
Good
that was my favorite line of the entire issue, I think.
She didn't have a problem that he like broke and entered into her apartment or that he was there. It was that he was messing with her
He's messing.
Her internet connection.
and had been for years. She's like, I've had the cable guy in here like 10 times.
She paid more on her monthly bill because
monthly bill. I was like, I feel you, girl. I feel you. When I first moved into my place, I needed to get a network extender. Otherwise, the only place I could like have a cell phone conversation was like standing next to my window. So like if I had found out that was because of Lex, I would have been so mad.
What's to say it wasn't because of Lex?
We don't know that it wasn't because of Lex. What if it was because of Nasty Luther? This whole time I've been hyping her up and she's been betraying me.
She's been messing with you. What I thought was really, really funny is the nefarious 666. Oh no, this is in regards to Lex and Commissioner Gordon. I forgot this doesn't happen here. But Lex has really tried to harness all the technology, and he is, I guess, going to be using Mercy maybe for something. I guess she's back in the fold. I don't know. But she did not seem to understand what had happened to him. She seemed confused about the whole Lex situation too. So I feel better that Mercy is maybe just as confused as we are.
Like, excuse me?
Yeah, so Lex is trying to get a sample of these infected people. I didn't understand why exactly what he's doing with the sample or the infection. Did you understand fully what he was needing it for?
I have no idea. I was trying to follow this. I was trying very hard. But I did sort of lose it here. I was like, I don't know what he's doing with the infection, what he's like compiling, and then like what this the notification that the infection got into his computer system.
Something like that. 666, I guess, is the number of the infection, which seems a little on the nose.
On the nose.
Yeah. But so Mercy and Lex might be teaming up, I guess, and trying to do something with this infection now that he is trying to get these samples and trying to figure out what's going on here. So I guess TBD on Lex Luthor. But I enjoyed his storyline and the interactions he had with everybody, but I am still kind of confused about the infection part of the storyline.
Yeah, the infection part of the storyline, I am struggling to follow how the infection works, how it's passed on, because I also think it's really interesting if we get into like the Commissioner Gordon of it all. Commissioner Gordon, who also doesn't seem to have a fun nickname, which is unfortunate for him.
I think he did early on, but it was like the Commissioner or something.
So lame.
It was really boring and derivative. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm now remembering this, and I was like, he doesn't get a good one like Death Strike or whatever.
Deathbringer.
Deathbringer. Donna Torres is the best. But he's like, so in the Supergirl comic that we reread, the way that they get the infection in them is to like shoot some little darts that have like a little, that go into them and then sort of put the infection in them. Like the infection is in like a dart that they get shot with. It's like, okay, I get that. In this, it seems like the infection is more like a contagious, like
a virus,
and that he's been infecting all the superheroes when they come in to like question him or like give him food. He's like, or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, that's a very different way for this infection to spread. If that's the case, why didn't they just get one of the infected superheroes to like cough in Superman's face?
I mean, they would have. You would think that Supergirl could have done that. She could have like blown like a super breath.
Like, why did they need the dart? I guess is my question.
Supergirl had the darts on her evil costume. You remember that? Those little spiky things.
Which also, had the infection, and she was like threatening to stab people with it. If you can just infect people by being in the same room with them, like
an actual virus,
like a virus, why was she going through all this effort? And then also, wouldn't she have, by that like theory, wouldn't she have infected all the people she was talking to? Like every time she was like
just
in a small town,
breathing on them. Yes.
Like, oops. Like, and they're all like, ha 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 ha. They start laughing. I feel like if you have to have, if your whole story is about an infection, the infection has to have rules that you follow, and they have to be the same rules across. And so it feels like the rules in the Supergirl book was that like you needed to be stabbed or pricked with something that had the infection, and the rule in this book is that the infection is airborne, and that's very different rules.
Yeah, I'm curious if they hold that to be consistent through the next 2 issues that we will read of this. If that changes, does that stay the same? What happens with that? But in the same vein, why wouldn't I mean maybe because Lex Luthor has these like almost godlike powers now that he's
He can get into your mind.
So maybe he's protected from that because he like interacted with all those characters
Yes,
while he was fighting them.
Very true. This is very true. And he does not seem to be infected. I feel like I could give them the hand wave because he's got this like he's been upgraded by what's her name?
Lady Perpetua.
Lady Perpetua. He got a glam makeover by Lady Perpetua, and he is slaying now, and so he cannot be infected. I can buy that, but I just feel like they need to be consistent with the rules of the infection. I don't care if they make sense. This has always been my thing. I don't care if it makes sense. You just have to establish the rules and then stick to them. You can't break it suddenly and have it work a different way because then I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it was Spikes that did it.
Apparently not anymore. So we'll have to watch that to see if that changes. Just getting into the chat, Mind the Gap says, I think Lex wants their DNA to make an antidote. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So maybe that's how infected Supergirl becomes uninfected, if she gets the antidote. Maybe Lex remembers that she tried to inspire him to be better.
Maybe he's like, I am kind of not living up to my full potential.
I am small right now.
I did a lot of actually I did a lot of soul searching after we talked. I did a lot of meditation and a lot of journaling, and I feel like maybe I am not the best Lex Luthor I could be.
We do know that Lex Luthor is a journal.
That's true. He's a journaler. Do you remember
season 6 of Supergirl?
He's a rural juror.
he wrote poems about Nixley. Do you remember that?
He did. And didn't he also have like a bunch of journals about how Lena always got to go out on the horse, but he didn't or something?
Yes. Lex Luthor loves journaling.
He loves he's got a million burn books all over the house. Superman's not even cool. Why do people like him?
He doesn't even go here. So I think that could work if maybe that's how infected Supergirl comes out of it, that Lex is nice to her and gives it to her. Brian also says in the chat, I hope the story explains some of the mystery plot points before the end. You and us both.
I hope that as well, my friend.
Well, we will see if TBD on that one. Okay, so there's so we find out a little bit more about the Batman Who Laughs, and I apologize, I did not get to go into his origin story and his one shot just yet. Kind of a little too quick of a turnaround, but I did download all of the Batman Who Laughs like additional comic series. So I'm hoping to dig into his mythology.
We'll know more soon.
Well, hopefully by next week I'll be able to bring my report back on the Batman Who Laughs one shot. But here in this issue, we find out that he's in a swamp outside Gotham. I don't know what to make of that. Why is this just like his secret lair? Is this like somewhere outside of things where nobody will see him? Is that what is this about? It's called Slaughter Swamp.
Yeah, it's not like cute. I was like, wait, first off, there's a swamp outside of Gotham? Question mark. And then I thought, just go with it. Sure, of course. Most major cities have a giant swamp right outside of them.
Sure.
I guess Gotham is secretly in Florida. And then he seems to be just like living in like a little shack in the middle of the swamp. It's got what looks to be like an old-fashioned loom or like spinning wheel, like Sleeping Beauty style.
It reminds me of Sleeping Beauty a lot.
Watch out! Don't touch that thing. Don't touch that thing.
You're gonna go into a deep sleep.
You gotta have to wait for true love's kiss, my dude. might be
He's
tough
gonna-
for you.
He's gonna be waiting a long time.
He's gonna be waiting quite a while. I was kind of wondering why we were seeing this layer, and also who does he has something or somebody in he has somebody trapped in this layer in the swamp. But is the Phantom Stranger?
So yes, I know just the bare minimum about a Phantom Stranger. I just really love the way he looks. And I think we need more stories of the Phantom Stranger. His first appearance was Phantom Stranger #1 from September 1952. Actually, the artist on that first issue was Carmine Infantino, the very famous artist name, and the writer was John Broome on that one. Let's see. He's a superhero of unspecified paranormal origins who battles mysterious and occult forces, sometimes under their Vertigo imprint of DC Comics. So he is kind of an interesting looking character. I think he deals in the occult stuff. This may be his swamp house, I wonder.
Oh, maybe.
Because I think he's in association with Swamp Thing.
Yeah, actually, I see in the chat, Brian says, Slaughter Swamp, is that where Solomon Grundy was born?
Are we gonna get Solomon Grundy? Oh, that we would be leveling up if we got some Solomon Grundy in here.
In Slaughter Swamp on a Monday?
Oh, I hope that's the only time you would ever get him.
I also see Mind the Gap says Slaughter Swamp has been a thing for a long time. And then a comment from Mind the Gap that says Phantom Stranger has more than one origin because he's a stranger. He could be Judas. He could be the soldier who stabbed Christ. He could be an angel or a time traveler.
Oh, so his mythology is even deeper than I think. Okay, interesting. I want to dig into this character to learn more about him, but I love his look. I love that he's made a random appearance here in this storyline. But he definitely deals with demonic characters and things of the occult. So I could be into reading that. So yeah, he's got Phantom Stranger in there, and I think he also has the Joker in this shack here in the swamp. Is that how he's revealed? He
is looking at something. Maybe it's his reflection.
Or no, Joker is in I'm sorry, I misspoke. He is in a Gotham City, like old rundown, like what do you call that? Like a state fair?
Like a fairgrounds. I believe that there was like he lived in a fairgrounds and something else that we watched too somewhat recently, like maybe like an old animated thing where he was like the Joker was hanging out at the fairgrounds.
Well, he is a clown.
This is sort of where he hangs.
He is a clown. That makes sense. I thought
real estate's tough to come by nowadays, so you got to get what you can get.
I think I originally thought the Joker was in there because there's a panel where the Batman Who Laughs is looking in a reflection. But I guess that reflection is just of him. It's not of he kind of looks like the Joker, so I misinterpreted that one panel. So yeah, I guess the Phantom Stranger is all he has in there. I did think it was kind of I don't know if this is like because you're reading the trade and I'm reading the one single issues. I don't know if this is how it is in your trade. I'm gonna share my.
I'm sure it's not.
So that you can see it. Let's see. Can you see this? So it goes from the end of the reveal of the Joker, and then it has a Barbara Gordon in a wheelchair thing ad right next to it. I thought that's a little poor taste.
Yeah,
because the Joker is who puts her in the wheelchair in the Killing Joke.
Brutal.
I was like, no, did anyone think this through on this?
Was anyone like maybe like some other page and then this one and then
maybe
this ad?
We maybe put this ad in something else.
Maybe at the beginning.
Maybe at the beginning. That would be a better way to use
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I got to the end of the issue and I
Uncool
was like,
dudes.
"Oh, that feels weird.
Ooh,
Don't do that."
That's just rubbing it in.
So I guess, do you have any theories about what the Joker is going to bring to this story now?
So in my trade,
Oh,
they have that, and then they have, let's see if I can share my screen. Yes, I will allow it. And then my Kindle. Okay. So so they have that panel, and then there's this page of
like a variant cover, or
like a variant cover kind of thing of like the Joker, and then you see infected Supergirl has been defeated again, so it doesn't seem like it's going well for her at all, honestly. And
not for any of them, actually.
I was really confused. And then when I flipped the page, I wasn't sure if this was like a continuation of the issue, because you don't get to the like part 3 until like 2 or 3 pages in. So I was like, wait, what's happening? But I was like, okay, I think this is over. Anyway, the point is that they don't make it simple to know where one issue ends and another issue begins in these things sometimes. So yeah, I wasn't sure, but I was like, okay, this seems like a bad sign for our infected heroes, because it seems like Joker, based on this art, is going to come and make things complicated.
He's standing on top of their dead bodies.
He sure is.
Or at least under their defeated bodies.
Infected Supergirl, as we can see in this close-up, just can't catch a break.
Why did they have to go closer in? Why?
Enhance. We just don't see enough Supergirl, dead Supergirl.
There just aren't enough stories where
something bad happens to her.
Supergirl dies. There's just not enough of those stories. So we really got to zoom in and focus on that. I don't know what the Joker is going to be doing, but I kind of like the idea of pitting. This is what I would do, of pitting the Batman Who Laughs up against the Joker. Because I don't know
fun.
I don't know where the Joker's allegiance is to this. Is he not liking the dark multiverse? Would he like the Batman Who Laughs? Would he want to be around him?
I like the idea that he's going to start fighting all the infected super people, and then he meets the Batman Who Laughs, and then they start fighting, and then suddenly they're like, did we just become best friends? Because it seems like the Batman Who Laughs was infected by a Joker, with whatever,
a Joker toxin.
A Joker toxin. So he's got that Joker vibe about him. So what if the Joker meets him and is actually I don't know, you guys. I know I'm supposed to fight him, but does anyone else think he's really cool?
There's just something about him that is just real familiar.
That seems so cool about him. I can't place my finger on what it is I like about him. And then in the background, the Batman Who Laughs is just laughing hysterically, haha, doing the Joker ha ha ha, and the Joker's I don't know. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I think he's onto something.
I don't think he's that bad, guys.
I don't think he's that bad. Are we sure we don't like him?
Yeah, so I would probably put the two of them up against each other if it was my story, but we'll see where that goes. So I guess, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about in terms of the story or the characters in this one?
I'm trying to think. I mean, besides me being mad about how the infection worked, just be I don't get it. We do see. Do we see is it Miss Martian who's in that with the red hair in that little Martian outfit?
Yeah, so I think a lot of this is Young Justice, Teen Titans who are in the Hall of Justice. You get Hawk and Dove and Beast Boy and Booster Gold, and some of those characters. I'm trying to see if I can find anybody else. A lot, yeah. I think Vixen maybe is in there in the mix, but yeah, Miss Martian is in there as well.
Yeah, I was excited to see Miss Martian because, as we've well established, she doesn't always get full storylines. Sometimes she just goes out and never comes back. So anytime I see her, I'm like, there she is. She made it. She made it.
She's
back.
just eternally protecting the city.
She is. She's just out there. She's just scanning around. She'll be back any day.
She is really doing a lot of heroic things. We just don't know about them.
McGann went out for some cigarettes, and she's going to be back any day.
Yeah, so she is in here. I couldn't tell though, because with Miss Martian, her eyes are red. That's a typical Martian thing. So I wasn't sure if that meant she was doing like a Martian thing or if she was infected.
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
was also confused. I also thought it was funny that like they're completely fine earlier, and then
Yeah.
suddenly they're all infected, and it's like, okay, I hate to be this person again. I really do. But like, what is the incubation period on this virus, and how is it hitting them all at the exact same time, even though presumably he's been exposing them on different days?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Lex just kind of turns around and then everybody's infected.
Suddenly they're all infected. It's like, oh, that's convenient.
Oh,
Can
Dr.
Can he
Light's in there too.
Can he trigger the infection in some way? Because if they can't, this is what a great twist of fate for the Joker who laughs that this all happened to kick off right at the moment that it needed to.
Yeah, I don't understand any of that.
You've got
That
to
was
tell me
very-
the rules of these of this infection. You just have to.
Please explain it in more detail. Thank you. Okay, so did you have any favorite panels or pages in this issue?
I obviously really liked the Supergirl pages, specifically when she's basically giving him sort of the rundown and being like, Superman's so disappointed in you. I thought that was really great. I also think that the page where the big panel where he is like looming over Supergirl in the Lexo suit was really well done, because the other heroes are sort of also on the ground, having been defeated, but because of the usage of like the red color for her cape, your eye really goes directly to Supergirl in that, and you're sort of like most concerned for her, or at least I am. And I thought that was really well done. And also he's in this giant Lexo suit and it looks very menacing. And I thought that was well done. I also do really like going to the swamp. I thought that the little visit to the swamp with the Batman Who Laughs was very ominous. I got the vibes of the swamp immediately. And I really liked that. And then let's see, what other page did I? Oh, I also really liked the page where Mercy walks into her apartment and Lex is just there in his like Minority Report, like, I don't know, like a little game center, looking at all the different like monitors, being like, oh, you're home.
She walked into something and he just took over the place.
Yep.
My
Classic
biggest
Lex.
Classic Lex. My big critique for the art, and I don't know, maybe this is unfair, but when they mention the red sun, it's red for 2 panels.
Yes, that I did also notice that.
And maybe for like another page, there's like when Lex stabs Supergirl,
there is some red in the background,
but then it like disappears.
Yeah,
in the rest of the fight.
I feel like if during the fight there's a red sun situation going on, this all should have been red, and like
all of it. Yeah,
maybe it's a little boring to color everything sort of red, but like that's sort of what you committed to when you said that there's going to be like a red sun protocol. So I feel like you gotta commit to it. This is the infection rules all over again. Like you can't just tell me the infection passes by like getting stuck with a needle, and then in the next thing I read, it's because somebody coughed on somebody else. Like these aren't the same rules, and this is the same way. It's the red sun protocol makes everything red for 2 panels, and then it's back to the normal colors. And like, but is the red sun protocol still going? Or
yeah, maybe the red sun is off once he stabs Supergirl. I don't know, but if you're gonna color some of those panels red, they should all be like that.
They should all be like. And also, why would you ever just turn it off? Like,
yeah,
she's Supergirl. You don't want to be fighting her at full strength. If you have the ability to like turn off the yellow sun and turn on a red sun and take away her powers, why would you be like, okay, her powers seem to be kind of taken away, let's turn back on the sun that gives her powers?
I I guess the argument is, well, he stabbed her with the kryptonite, so she was out for the count. So I
Was
guess,
she?
yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that, but that was something that I didn't fully understand about the way things looked in there. I really liked all the Lex in the Lexo suit, especially the big panel where he's walking away and we see the back of his Lexo suit and all of the evil infected superheroes are laying defeated at his feet. I really enjoyed that. And I also really liked the panel of the Batman who laughs with the Phantom Stranger. I thought that was a really
Oh,
cool
yeah.
shot, like a low angle of the Batman who laughs legs with the Phantom Stranger in the background with his cape sort of flowing up. I really enjoyed that. So a lot of moody things that were really setting the tone for what the story and the characters were going to be doing. So I think the art in this is really solid, except for the critiques about the coloring with the red sun.
Red
Um, it's just unfortunate that sometimes the stories are hard to follow in terms of the writing and what's happening. But I think the art is fairly strong and consistent throughout these issues. Do you have any other thoughts or feelings before we wrap up?
I'm just I know we have 2 more issues in this run. And I just feel like a lot has happened in these 2, but also kind of nothing has happened. And I feel like they've sort of set it up so that a bunch of stuff has to happen in the next 2 issues to wrap up this storyline. And let's see, I guess. I feel like I was expecting there to be more momentum in this issue, I would say. And I feel like the issue didn't really, for a 4-issue run, I would have expected a lot more to happen in issue 2. And I don't think all that much did. So I feel like they've set themselves up to have to pack just so much into issue 3 and 4. I feel like it's going to feel really rushed, but we'll see. We will see on this journey that we were taking.
What if we get to the end of issue 4 and there's like another series that
my
we
God,
to read?
that I will be honest, this is my biggest fear, is that we get to the end of issue 4 and we're like, she's still infected. And it's like, to find out how they lose their infection, go read, Year of the Villain, still being villainous, infection, dot, Supergirl lives, or something. I don't know. And then we'd be like, no. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Let's not go there just yet. We'll just anticipate an ending, a conclusion to some degree by the end of issue 4. We'll see what happens.
Supergirl better not be infected when we go back.
She should be uninfected by issue number 4.
Because as we well established, when we go back into the main Supergirl storyline, she is not going to be infected anymore.
She's uninfected.
No explanation as to how that happened.
So yeah, it is funny how like in this issue they introduced Phantom Stranger, who's the kind of an interesting character, but then it's like, what are you going to do for him in the next 2 issues?
Yeah, it's like I feel like I would have a different perspective on this issue if I didn't know it was like a 4-issue run. Like if I was like, okay, this is like issue 2 of 8, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we're setting things up.
Yeah.
We're creating mystery. We're confusing people about how the virus works. But knowing that we're now halfway through this run that's supposed to result in them being uninfected, I'm concerned.
We've got to get there. So maybe this is contingent on what Lex is doing. So maybe following Lex around, maybe we'll get there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in issue number 3 when we discuss it next time. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap us up on the comic book review section. So Morgan, would you like to read an email that we got in our listener feedback?
Sure. We have an email from Kenny who writes, very excited for what's in store for Superman and Supergirl in the DCU in 2025 and 2026. For me as a fan in 2024, it was the most difficult year for me. I lost both my aunt and uncle and my super heart was broken. A super fan like me can have days of stress, but I always pull through and be a hero in my own life. That's what characters like Superman and Supergirl do. They inspire hope to have a good day, even though things might get worse. I love these characters so much. As for the new Supergirl, I can't wait to see Millie's take on the Girl of Steel in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in 2026 for the DCU. I love Millie, and she's a great actress. She will have some big shoes to fill. Melissa Benoist was iconic as Supergirl, but I believe Millie will do great and knock it out of the park.
Well, we're sorry to hear about your aunt and uncle, Kitty. So sorry to hear about that, and hope things are getting better for you. And definitely know that if you ever need something to do or something to take your mind off it, the Supergirl Radio live and wired streams are always a good time.
That is
So,
true.
I mean, we can guarantee you a good time if you want to come hang out with us for that. So, hope things are getting better for you in 2025 as we start, as we have started this new year. We're about to hit February, so it's going faster than thought. But yeah, I also agree that I'm excited about Millie's take on Supergirl in the movie. I think, obviously here at Supergirl Radio, we love Melissa Benoist. She was so perfect as Supergirl, even when they didn't give her enough to do or even good things to do or even made her the main character. She was still great at it.
I do feel like I think what Kenny said was Melissa Benoist was iconic as Supergirl. And I do feel like in ways that other actors or actresses have like been the definitive version of a character, like Melissa Benoist is that for a lot of us who watched Supergirl. So I agree, these are big shoes to fill, but I think that Millie is a great actress, and I'm so excited for the movie as well.
Yeah, Melissa was in The Cape for 6 seasons of a TV show over
more than 6 years.
Over 100 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Or is that right?
I think so. Over 100. Usually they hit about 100 by season 5.
Season 5 was 100 episodes. I cannot remember the full count of episodes. Somebody in the chat can fact check me on how many episodes the Supergirl TV series ended up having. But she was Supergirl for a long time and did it for a lot of different things, not even just the Supergirl TV series, but the crossovers and other TV shows as well, and in animated form, also with some of those shorts that they did. So she is, I think, sort of the iconic version of Supergirl just based on time and performance. Not to say that the other Supergirls are not great as well. We love all of them here. But I think for Millie, I think I would think there's no pressure. At least I'm not putting pressure on her to live up to any kind of Melissa Benoist standard, because it's a different take on Supergirl. So she can do her own thing. That Supergirl and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is very different from Melissa Benoist's take on Kara. So I'm excited to have both of them. You can have Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, and you can also have Millie Alcock as Supergirl. So I think that's great.
It's one of the great things about like superhero media, honestly, is that like if you don't like a version of the character or a take on the character, like you just kind of have to wait. And there'll be like a TV show or a comic book or a movie that's probably like more to your liking. And I mean, we love Melissa Benoist and we love Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll love Millie. And I just think it's so nice to have so many different takes on the character that all feel correct but feel different and like fresh.
I might be biased, but I don't think we've ever had a bad Supergirl.
We have not.
Like, even I was just thinking about like the Supergirl animated voices and like Laura Vandervoort on Smallville, and of course Helen Slater. I just don't think we've ever had a bad Supergirl. So we're back.
They've all been great. They've all been great. So
they've all been good.
Millie has a strong group to join into.
Yeah, even with my critiques of Sasha Kaje, she did great with what she was asked to do and what she was doing for the story. So, I still have collectible things from Sasha Kaje's Supergirl as from the Flash movie. So, I don't think we've ever had like a truly bad Supergirl. I think they've all been their version of Supergirl to the best of their abilities. So, I think that's and I would like to think that is a point of pride for the Supergirl fandom and for the ladies who are in that elite group of actresses who have played Supergirl. So I'm excited to see the next take on it. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. If you would like to contact us, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on X and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. Supergirl Radio is part of the DCTV podcast and Multiverse of Color Network, so give those a look at. You can hang out with us as we go live and wired, usually on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we have to shift because of schedules, but you can usually find us on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the DCTV Podcast YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed. And DCTV Podcast also has a TeePublic store, so if you are in need of new DC merch, whether that be t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, magnets, tote bags, pins, phone cases, pillows, or stickers, go to Supergirl Radio and supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page. And I want to make sure, Morgan, that I put a TeePublic thing in here. I don't think I did. So what I'm going to do for the live stream viewer is that I am going to pull up something that we just created, because
this is new. This is hot off the press.
Last time around, we joked about creating a t-shirt or a design that we a t-shirt we could wear when we go see the new Superman movie.
Yes. The design was good. We were saying that we wanted to go in t-shirts that said just here for Supergirl, and Rebecca created them. So if you too, just like us, want to go and represent maybe the better Supergirl character, when you go, you can go get a Just Here for Supergirl t-shirt at our TeePublic store.
I think we should all wear them to the first time we see Superman.
I think so too. And I'm just going to put it out there. If you do buy this and you do wear it to see Superman, please take a photo.
Please take a
photo and send it to us.
Take a selfie with the Superman poster and let us know that you went.
Let us know who you're there for.
And you don't have to just wear this to the Superman movie. You could wear it anytime. And people will know what you're here for.
It's important for them to know that you're just here for Supergirl.
So I'm going to try to see if we can have I noticed TeePublic took some of my other designs that were basically the same thing as this, but maybe they thought it was like a duplicate or something. So we only have one currently in there, but I may try to play around with a different design similar so I'm hoping to create like a series of just here for Supergirl designs.
But you can pick your favorite.
So you can pick your favorite. But I think this is fun. You can get a t-shirt, you can get a hoodie. I think there's all sorts of things like what do we have in this one? There's definitely not just t-shirts, but I would recommend that you get the t-shirt so that you can then wear it to the Superman movie. And,
really represent Supergirl at the Superman movie.
I mean, you'll be there to see Superman, but you're going to be there for Supergirl.
Primarily, you're there for Supergirl. Important, we all know this.
So just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that we joked about it, but then we went and did it. We actually did it. I did have a request, I think, on Instagram to make a Nasty Luther t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
So
I would also get that.
So we have to figure out what that t-shirt looks like. What does that design say? I'm sure we can find some kind of nasty pun to go along with that. So look out for that in future iterations of the DCTV Podcast TeePublic store. But if you click on the link at supergirlradio.com, that will help us. So if you want to do it that way, that would be great. Also, we would like to thank our Legion of Super Sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Anne-Marie, Yvonne, Nicola, Abby, Miriam, Nicole, Brian, Ethan, Majuba, Annie, Rachel, and Kit. If you'd like to become a Legion of Super Sponsor and support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And we had talked about reviewing the Jeannot Zvark. I think that's how I looked up in my notes how to pronounce his name. It's Zvark, like SV, like Zvark.
Ooh, Zvark.
Movie Somewhere in Time. So it's available on Tubi. It's for free if you would like to watch it. It does have some ads, but it's okay. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes, so pretty good. Not exactly a tight 90, but really close.
Pretty close. If you start to watch it on Tubi and you're like, I can't do it with these ads, it's also pretty cheap to rent. It was only like $4. Not saying that's what I did, but it is what I did. And I started it on Tubi, and then I was like, Morgan, just treat yourself.
I was like, no, I'm going for free. I got it for free here.
That's very fair. That's probably what I should have done, but I was like, nah.
Well, we're going to be reviewing Somewhere in Time in memory of Jeannot, and seeing more of his work outside of Supergirl and Superman with Smallville. We're going to look at his film that stars a former Superman, Christopher Reeve, and we'll talk about that. A surprise time travel into 1912. So
yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about this, because just as like a little treat for the listeners who aren't Patreon subscribers, the time travel method in this movie is insane, and I cannot wait to talk to Rebecca about it. There's so much happening in this movie. I was like, oh my god, what a rich text.
Yeah, every time travel story has to figure out the device in which the time travel will happen.
This one was unexpected.
It could be a DeLorean automobile. It could be a time traveling hot tub, a wave rider, various things. This one was unexpected for me, and
this one was different.
Yeah,
not what I expected.
It's unique though. Good for them. And I think it's based off of a book.
I saw that in the opening credits that it said it was based off of a book. I didn't get the chance to like look up the book to see if they had the same method of time travel.
So we are going to be reviewing that for the Supergirl Radio Patreon. So if you would like to join us for the Somewhere in Time review, please consider subscribing over at our Patreon. If you would like to hang out with me on the interwebs, I am on the Vero True Social platform at DerbyKid. I'm also on Instagram at the DerbyKid. And I have a personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/duckmilkprod. I also do a travel blog with my brother at Oasis Broom. Still need to catch up on that. I'm needing to catch up on everything. I'm way behind on everything this year. So just stay tuned for all of that.
And you can find me on the internet in various places at Mojotastic. And you can also find me as a co-host on the Legendary Ladies podcast. This week, we are back from our winter hiatus, and we have an interview with the author Fiona Fenn, who wrote the recent novel that just came out, The Crack at the Heart of Everything. So if you like fantasy, if you like romance, if you like dragons,
dragons,
you should check us out at The Legendary Ladies on YouTube and at The Legendary Ladies on Instagram. And we also have a Patreon where if you join, you would be able to see some of our episodes that we record in advance, sometimes a week early, sometimes just a couple days early, but it's pretty fun.
I was actually talking to some coworkers today about dragons, because the House of the Dragon TV series came up. I don't know if it was because I was talking about Supergirl with somebody, or somebody just brought House of the Dragon up. It could have been either one, honestly. But I remarked that there were not enough dragons for
not
me.
Enough
House of the Dragon. I've been told that at the end of, I guess, season 1, House of the Dragon, there's a lot of dragons, but it's a sad thing.
Oh, yeah. I got the very distinct impression that like a bunch of dragons were going to die in that.
That's what it
and
sounds
I was
like.
You know what? I'm choosing different for myself. I'm choosing to not know about it.
I'm just going to ignore it so that I feel better about this situation.
It's not for me to know.
Sometimes it's better if you just live in blissful ignorance, honestly.
I'm loving
it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon. And we look forward to reading more Supergirl comics.
McGurk, I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom. Because of the outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Is Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!